So, a draft of a new bill that was meant to stay secret has been made public. It shows that the U.S. Congress wants to do something that has never been done before. There is no question that this could completely change the course of cryptocurrency and global finance. According to the Digital Reserve Act, also known as House Resolution 901, the Federal Reserve is required to buy XRP and keep it on its balance sheet as a strategic asset. Even stranger is the fact that the order makes this situation. The Federal Reserve needs to buy XRP with a worth at least $500 billion. For more than one reason, the move is being considered. But the most important ones are fighting China's digital yuan and making sure the country's economy is stable. The U.S. government is also using XRP as a key part of its general financial plan at the same time. When countries work together like this, it could change the future of money and how they interact with each other in the digital age. The stolen copy of the Reserve Act. That being said, the political atmosphere at the time is what really makes it the most important. If you have XRP, you should keep it on your balance sheet as a strategic asset. In one part of the paper, it says that the Secretary of the Government must tell the Federal Reserve to buy the digital asset. People usually think of the Federal Reserve as being cautious and not willing to take risks. However, they have taken a big step forward by quickly taking cryptocurrencies and digital assets, especially XRP. This success is a big step forward. The present market value of XRP is more than twice that amount, so you can get an idea of how much 500 billion would be. When this happened, people would feel very strongly compelled to buy the ticket right away. But it's not just about making money either. Keeping the United States ahead of China in the race to become the world's biggest economy is a matter of safety, as well as making sure that trend continues. What does this mean for the price of XRP? XRP has been thought of as an option to cash for a long time. The main goal of it is to make international transfers of money and transactions, as well as to raise TEs, or the amount of cash in the world financial system. Congress is now aware that XRP is more than just a useful currency for making payments, as the Digital Reserve Act was passed. The fact that it is a strategically important tool is also something they do. To be honest, that changes everything totally. The Federal Reserve, the world's strongest central bank, will be in charge of XRP under this move. Because of this, it would become an important part of the U.S. banking system over the next few years. XRP will grow into more than just a coin that some banks use. This move will have a big effect on the whole country and will be very important for the direction of U.S. financial policy. It is important to stop and think about the forces that are at work on a world scale. In China, the value of the digital yuan has been slowly rising since a few years ago. It goes. There is no doubt that a lot of experts think this could one day be used to fight with the U.S. dollar as the world's main currency in the banking system. China's leaders have made it very clear that they want to use their own digital currency for foreign trade instead of the dollar that the U.S. created. The United States has a hard time keeping control of the world financial system because of this. When it comes to this case, the Digital Reserve Act is not just a bet on an asset that looks good. On the contrary, it is a way to make sure that the U.S. keeps its to be competitive in the new world of digital monies that are coming. The purchase of XRP is a clear answer. To the digital yuan that has happened to make sure that the U.S. has a big digital asset that could help fight China's control over the financial system. This step is made. The idea that this bill will change how things are done is much more interesting than the bill itself. People have been telling us for years that cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology would change many fields for the better. Still, this bill shows that cryptocurrency, and XRP in particular, is now more than just a risky investment. There is no way that the Federal Reserve would buy something just for fun. There would have to be a strong strategic reason for the government of the United States of America to take such a big step. This shows that what's happening now isn't just a bubble caused by a few small players betting on the stock market. The health of the country is at stake in this play. The United States is realizing that it needs to protect its own digital future, even as China continues to build and grow its digital yuan. They have chosen to use XRP as the asset in order to reach this goal. The United States would have more power in foreign trade if it bought XRP. This would turn it into a centralized currency backed by the government that can be used for foreign transactions without the risk of falling into the hands of other countries or competing economic forces. It's also possible that this will have a big negative effect on banks and other traditional financial companies. If the Federal Reserve starts to keep XRP, it will let everyone in the financial world know that digital assets are no longer seen as a separate type of asset. For that reason, they will be seen as real security investments, like gold and fiat currencies. With any luck, this will lead to the creation of new kinds of assets that are easier to deal with and add to the global financial system. This could be good for banks and other businesses that deal with money. It would be possible to make a digital reserve that can compete with any standard asset if the Federal Reserve bought XRP. It's possible that this will make other central banks around the world rethink how they feel about digital currencies and blockchain technologies. It is important to think about how this measure will affect the price of XRP for the coin when thinking about what it means in the long run. When a product like XRP was under buying pressure worth $500 billion, I had never seen anything like it before. In the event that this bill is passed and the Federal Reserve starts buying a lot of XRP, the price of the coin will definitely go through the roof. The price of XRP could go through the roof and into the thousands of dollars very quickly. The price of XRP could go up a lot because there are a lot of buyers on the market. There is only a certain amount of XRP available. There have been ups and downs in the value of XRP over the years, but investors who have stuck with their investments have done well, having the chance to get a big return on their money, which could completely change the Bitcoin market. Does everyone agree that it's an idea that really interests you, but there are also things that should be thought about? Starting from the beginning, banks and other standard financial service providers have been very against the bill. A lot of banks have been strongly against the idea of unified digital assets for a long time. At the moment, the U.S. government has to buy a large amount of a digital object that could make it less powerful. There is a real fight going on right now. For sure, this bill has the potential to change the way we think about traditional banks in a big way. The present state of the financial system is in danger with this method, especially if XRP turns into a significant reserve asset for the Federal Reserve at some point in the future. Watching something like this happen is really interesting, isn't it? In addition, it is important to remember the day the bill was sent. Things going on in other parts of the world, like the rise of China's digital yuan and the growing interest in blockchain technology, are putting a lot of